No, you're not seeing things, ladies and gentlemen. I am back for the fourth of four shows this weekend. It's been quite a weekend on Sportswire. As a matter of fact, it's been quite a last 4 or 5 days, but it's been quite a week and quite a weekend. We started things off with Aaron Blaze, the headline, the main event. We had on Craven Rage, which turned into a slew of people. One person in particular, I'm sure, will be a topic in a little while. And then we just had on the one and only Copper Dragon, obviously Backyard Wrestling's version of Dave Meltzer, our ambassador of the backyard, and a man that's done so much for us. We honored him tonight. Plus, we had an announcement that I'm going into a Hall of Fame, apparently, and James Taylor's in wrestling again. But forget about
Yeah.
all of that because we have on tonight with us the number one contender to the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Championship. And why is that important, ladies and gentlemen? Because he is going to be scoring off with a man that some would arguably say right now is backyard wrestling's darling right now, the darling of the yard that is D'Angelo the Flame, a man that is traveling literally and everywhere all over the yard. And we're going to talk about that with Jakoby, plus what he's going to do with Saturday Night Riot, and maybe even talk about a man that was here Wednesday and certainly had a heinous attack he did on Jakoby, but Jakoby's back. He's healthy. He's ready to go, and it's been a while since he's been on
Yeah,
Sportswire Radio. And the first time you remember Jakoby he was here, he certainly had a lot to share. It was one for the ages, and something tells me that round two with Jakoby is going to be better and some here. Plus, I'm sure there's going to be more announcements ahead with all things related to Resurrection Wrestling and everything else that we do here on this platform. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right to it. We're closing out the weekend in style. It's where all wrestling matters here in Resurrection Wrestling. Always plays a key role in that. And let's go to it here. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time to give our guest that introduction that so many of his peers have gotten. Obviously, Xavier Thorne has gotten. It's been a hot skip in a minute since he's gotten it. So let's get right to it on a Sunday night. So with
the music's my
that, wait for it. Further ado, here on the Spot Your Boy. Number one, global sports show, the number one contender to the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Championship. His name is simply put, Jakoby. My friend, how are you?
you. I'm doing great. Tom, when I do win, not if, when I win the internet title off of D'Angelo the Flame at Saturday Night Riot, my first entrance as champion, may or just have you come down to ring announce me because that's beautiful, man. I need that
I'll
to
tell you
send me
what.
off to the ring, man. That's the motivation. Man.
It's so
It's
funny that you
9:30
said
right
that.
now where I'm at. I've got adrenaline going through my veins just from that. I mean, just from that,
It's so.
I've got what does the Rock do? The slap of the arm, and I'm feeling it.
It's so
I'm
funny
very
that
happy to be back on Sportswire. Like you said, round one was great.
round one is definitely great. And, it's so
Yeah.
funny that you said that because I get asked all the time from wrestlers, you could do something for me. Like, well, we'll certainly see. But it's also funny that you said that, it's 9:30 almost here and where you are, 10:30 where I am. I've done this 4 times in the past 48 hours. But to me, it still doesn't matter because I think everybody's fired up, pumped up. You were here the first time
Yeah,
and
you do.
there was a lot to be said. And let's get right to it because obviously this has been quite a weekend on Sportswire Radio. We
Yeah.
kicked things off with Aaron Blaze. We had Craven Rage and a slew of people that came on, and that was what it was. And we had on Copper Dragon, who is arguably our ambassador of backyard wrestling. one of the most respected and beloved people in the yard. And you get to be our main eventer, Jakoby. You get to be the one that closes out this historic weekend on Sportswire Radio. So for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, Jakoby, tell us how you're going to take away that Resurrection Internet Championship from arguably, again, backyard wrestling and underground wrestling's darling, D'Angelo LaFlame.
You see, Tom, I would love to answer your question, but the problem with that is if I tell you how I'm going to beat him, I'd be telling D'Angelo LaFlame how to beat him, and he's going to see it coming from a mile away. My kind of MO is really slithering in there and getting the job done without the opponent expecting what I'm going to do next. So telling you would be telling him, I'm watching this interview tonight. He has to be. If not, then he's an idiot for not preparing for his match. But I know LaFlame. He's not an idiot. He's watching. And again, telling you would be telling him, and I can't let him in on my little secrets. I have some tricks of the trade. If what I originally planned to do, I've got a plan B, C, D, way down to Z. And I'll use each and every one of them that I have for victory and take away that internet championship off of, like you said, right now, backyard wrestling / indie wrestling's dark golden goose, the big shot, D'Angelo LaFlame. I was there when D'Angelo LaFlame was first getting trained. That's when I originally left. I saw potential in him, but never did I think he would reach the magnitude as quickly as he did. And I, quite frankly, proud of him, and I'm happy for him. I think it's time for him to take that next step up the ladder, move on to the world title, and leave the internet title division to the best around here, and that's Jakoby.
Well, Jakoby, there's a lot to
That
unpack there. There's certainly a lot to unpack. And you're absolutely correct in that Mr. LaFlame is here, and he has been a favorite of this platform for a long time, just as well as you've been a favorite of this platform.
yeah,
We've had you on here in the past. And let me ask you then a different question. I know we've spoken in the past. You've been on my shows. You obviously kind of know how this goes. But let me ask you a different question. We speak about the fact that D'Angelo LaFlame is kind of this darling right now in the community. He was announced yesterday as he's now going to be a part of this
of
thing, the
course.
Riot in the Ring for New Underground Wrestling in the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Jake Matthews runs it. We have coverage with them tomorrow. I'm going to ask their company about D'Angelo LaFlame. We saw him in Alabama for the Alliance Wrestling League, and obviously he's been a huge part of TBW, and we know the
Mm,
relationship that TBW and Resi has and
that's
how
right.
much we've worked with both platforms. But let me ask
Yeah.
you a question. I don't even know how you would even take this, but do you think it's a possibility in a way that maybe because D'Angelo LaFlame has all of this on his plate, that maybe he takes his eye off the ball at Saturday night in the Riot, and maybe that's your potential to kind of take away that championship from him just because Mr. LaFlame's got, so many kind of hands in so many different
He's got his
jars, and
hands
that could
full.
be an
Yeah.
opening for it. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that definitely plays a factor in it, Tom. I think when you have so much on your plate and you go in against at the same time, it's not going to work out for you. And he's coming into Saturday Night Right with a head full of these different bookings all around the world, all around the states. And I respect him for it. And that's why, like I said, I think it's time for. I think he can use the loss that I'm going to feed him at Saturday Night Riot to fuel him to head straight for the mountaintops, which is what I want to do. I don't want to see him fail. I love LaFlame. I respect LaFlame. He is a great competitor. He is a great guy. I need this to prove myself, and I'll use any factors that I can to take that championship away from him, as I said previously. And that could definitely be a major player in how really focused and how locked into this match that he is. It can play a huge factor, Tom. And that's a great question, by the way.
Thank you. And it is kind of an
So,
important one to ask because if you think about it, right? And D'Angelo's been in. I'm going to get to comments. I'm going to say
of
hello to people. People are starting to tune in. Obviously, there was a delay in
course,
the show, but I think people they've been waiting for you. It's been a great weekend on sports. I can't thank enough people for the support on Instagram, Facebook. We've had clips out there with 400, 500 views, 300 views, 400 views on Facebook, Twitter. We've gotten a lot of
Absolutely.
traction, some new subscribers out there. So I really
That's why
appreciate
I
the
love coming
support.
on here, man.
And that's why I want to
Yeah.
keep going out there because I talk about the community and how much it means to me, and I'll do anything I can for the people here. But the facts are is
Mhm.
that maybe in a way this is an opportunity to prove something because D'Angelo has been all over the place. Every show I'm on, Sportswire Radio, his name comes up. Aaron Blaze, who's never stepped foot in Resurrection Wrestling, was talking about him. Copper Dragon was like, yeah, you know what? I've reviewed all these
Right.
guys: Jack Delta, CJ Black, Omen Black, Craven Rage, James Taylor, all the usual suspects in the yard, but maybe I got to pay attention to him. We had on Craven Rage yesterday, and D'Angelo LaFlame's name came up. Anthony Steele, anytime he's on this platform, and I'm sure he'll be a topic later on, D'Angelo LaFlame's name comes up
Yes.
or came up. And there was even a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago a show where all of a sudden it was him, Drake Golddragon, and Mr. Tibbs were all in a photo outside somewhere. I mean, so the facts are, is every show I'm on, D'Angelo LaFlame is a topic. But let me ask you then, he's the name that everybody knows, but Jakoby's the name that not a lot of people know. Is that motivating you maybe going into this match at Saturday Night Riot that, you know what? Everybody's talking about D'Angelo LaFlame, but they're not focusing on Jakoby. They're not focusing on what you've done. They're not focusing on your
Mhm.
abilities to come back. You waited a year to come back to the ring. You were a guy that fought tooth and nail to come back. You had a lot to prove. You left Resurrection Wrestling in the past, and now you're arguably in the biggest stage that anybody can get against a guy that right now is a darling in this sport. And maybe that motivates you more than anything else because nobody's kind of really thinking you have a shot in this match.
First of all, Tom, another great question. You're just knocking it out of the park. Secondly, it definitely fuels me in a sense of I can't really lose. Let's level here. This entire time I've been saying and I win, and those are just positive emotions because I'm not certain that I am. But but I will come out with a victory that night, regardless win, lose, or draw, because I'm standing across the ring from a guy who's got people like Craven Rage, people like just people all over the world, Aaron Blaze, different people mentioning his name,
Hey,
getting
Jack, I've mentioned
that
him in
kind
the
of
same
attention,
sentence.
those kind of
Absolutely. I've mentioned him in the same sentence as Jack
yeah,
Delta. Right? Everybody knows Jack Delta, and he's kind of now
yeah,
almost not to say that Jack
yeah,
Delta is no longer, but almost in a way that he's kind of like the heir apparent to Jack Delta. Because if we think about it, D'Angelo's here, D'Angelo's there, and that's what Jack Delta's done. There was only one man that would go out in the yard and go state by state by state, promotion by promotion by promotion, and slowly it seems like all the big names, all the usual suspects, they're looking at if there's one person that can go mano a mano with Jack Delta, if there's one person that could fill his shoes right now, if there's one person that could be that guy to carry the torch, to carry the mantle here in the yard in the underground, right now it's him. I mean, that's basically kind of how it's been these last, I would say, 2 or 3 months with D'Angelo LaFlame.
no, absolutely. I 100% agree with you, Tom, and that's why I give all the flowers in the world to LaFlame. Even though I'm going into this big match, and I could sit here and say, "Oh, Flame sucks. Oh, I'm gonna beat his ass." No, I'm not. It's not quite that simple. You couldn't really because again, there are a lot of people who go on here, Xavier Thorne, who like to fake it until they make it, and sit here and say, "Oh, that guy sucks. I'm acknowledge this or whatever." But I'm not that guy. I'm real. I'm down to earth. I understand what I'm going into, and I understand who I'm facing, and I understand the magnitude of the name D'Angelo LaFlame compared to the magnitude of the name Jakoby. The most infamous Jakoby came out. Approach. I'm a nobody compared to D'Angelo LaFlame, and I know that just as well as anyone else knows that. But standing across the ring from him is going to give me those eyes that I need because I feel like, and I don't want to, toot my own horn here, but I feel like I'm a good enough competitor that once the eyes that are on the flame look over to me because we're standing across from the, I'm gonna prove a little something to the people who, when I first initially started off in this business, said that there's no chance in ever be anything, and beating him would be a double. it'd multiply that. Um, and so that's again, that's why I'm excited. There's no losing in this really. If the match, okay, I got all this attention on me. Let's prove them wrong in the next one. If I win the match, great. I got all on me, and I just beat the second longest reigning champion in Resurrection history in title match. I think in Resurrection, like for a Resurrection title ever. So
And I think Gold Dragon's
regardless,
the one
win
that,
win
and I
here.
think, and I think Gold
Got to look
Dragon's
at
the
the
one
glass
that has
half
the
full.
longest one. Yeah, I think it's Alexander, Gold
Heel's the
Dragon, and
number
the
one, and
Flame.
I'm not even going.
All right, fair
Yeah, well,
enough.
yeah. Number one is gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yep. Yep. So, you obviously make a lot of great points. You touch upon those things. Before I do anything and get to some comments,
mm,
if you'd like to follow Jakoby, please do so at all those great links. Also, support our friends at Resurrection Wrestling. I cannot stress enough the fact that Resurrection Wrestling is always a strong company that we've always enjoyed and a company that we've supported. And I cannot thank enough the company for their support these past 7 or 8 months working with us here on Sportswire Radio. And that's what it's about. All wrestling matters. And Resurrection Wrestling has been a huge part of that. And they've done a lot of great things. But let me ask you then a different question. And, I'm not going to ask you, okay, how do you beat D'Angelo Flame? Because, again, you're correct. He's here, and that makes no sense. And, many of your peers are going to go right back to him, and the champion will know. And he's been on this platform, and he's going to be here before the match. So, obviously, I'm going to get the champion side of the story, and, that's going to be what it is. But do you plan
yeah.
but do you
Right.
plan differently? Do you plan differently for this match versus any other match in your career?
I gotta really, actually, no, not really. I study my opponent. That's what I do every single time. I make sure I know my opponent's weaknesses, my opponent's finishers, my opponent's strengths. I know the Flame fly the top a lot. I know he does a lot of diving moves for a big dude he is. I remember that haluva that he does, the real raw energy kick.
Yep.
There are a couple of things that I have noted in my head, like, hey, keep an eye out. When he goes to that corner opposite, you keep an eye out for that because he's you with the boot. When you're on the outside standing up and he's running those ropes, keep an eye out. I'm really focusing in on what he does and where strong suits and where are his weaknesses. Um, so yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it's pretty much the same as everyone else. When I wrestling Thorne, the reason I beat Thorne was because I studied him. The reason I beat Thorne at Fallout because I heard he was going to be in town, and I assumed, hey, he's probably going to go out there and say something. I might interrupt him, so I was studying Jay Storm. Um, so same as everything else.
Fair play. And let me get to some comments here. I know we're
But
having
yeah,
a slight lag on your end, but
of
we'll certainly
course,
do our best to make do. First of all, our buddy,
I
Mr. Joshua
apologize for
Allen. Yeah,
that.
it's okay. It
Yeah,
happens. We'll do the best we can with it. Evening, Tom and
I mean,
Jakoby.
Tom.
Obviously, good to see Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen and TBW had a big weekend also because they are their first sponsor. So congratulations to the company. They got a trophy to boot with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as
that
you
was awesome. It
correctly,
was a gym, right?
yep, out there in
I
Tennessee,
can
making a
have
lot of.
what? Listen,
You can have, I think, the championship. I suppose. I mean, I'll see what else he has to say. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr.
if you
Jack
want to come
Spilmore,
bring it
buddy,
up,
the icon himself. You'll need more than adrenaline to beat LaFlame.
you know, Jack Spade, I have more than adrenaline, my friend. I have a lot more than adrenaline.
Okay, okay, that's fair. We'll have to
Yeah.
find out. He's going to need help to beat him, meaning you to beat Mr. LaFlame.
I'm no Drake Gold Dragon. I do not ask for help to win my matches. I do not need help to win my matches, unlike Mr. Gold Dragon there. So I'll pass on that. I think I'll beat him clean and fair and square. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll certainly have to see. A couple of more
Yeah.
comments here. First of all, let me say hello to the big bad Silver Wolf of the Wolfpack Hour and Triple W Wrestling. Good to see you, my friend. Obviously, hope you are well and hope that you are safe from your ring work this past weekend. Want to say hello to our buddy over in the Alliance Wrestling League. Why are they important? Because, well, that's the company that D'Angelo LaFlame wrestled in. He wrestled and defended the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Championship for them. He was also a part of their gold rush in the great state of Alabama. And let me ask you a different question. I know Mr. Spade, Mr. Allen have some comments, but from afar, leave aside your match coming up with LaFlame. What do you think, as somebody that works for Resurrection, that it meant to the locker room and to the company that LaFlame stepped there and kind of unannounced showed up there in another promotion in the Alliance Wrestling League and then defended the
Mhm.
Resurrection Wrestling Internet title in that company? What do you think that meant for the locker room and the company as a whole?
Well, I think anything but positive for us, getting our name out there, getting our logo on other shows, getting our title on other shows, and our wrestler on other shows. We, I think, as a company, wish nothing but the best for our wrestling. We are no WWE. We are no contract. Like, where there's nobody like under lock, that to a point where go visit other places. So we're just more than happy to see LaFlame succeeding and moving up the ladder again as quickly as he has. I mean, you know, we knew he was going to be there, like the reach that, but never in a million years could anyone have thought in such a quick amount of time. And so we're all really proud of D'Angelo LaFlame, even as his upcoming opponent. I will say I'm proud of. And he's doing great stuff, and I love to see it.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
really great moment, and I'm glad you said it that way because when I think about the backyard, and I've said this on multiple shows, because again, D'Angelo's kind of like the next generation of a Jack Delta or an Aaron Blaze to an extent, and he's kind of the
Right.
darling right now in the yard and the
Absolutely.
underground. And I had mentioned that to me, it reminded me of when Rick Rude had famously appeared on Monday Night Raw, then on WCW Monday
Yeah.
Nitro at the same night, and
Makes sense.
ECW in the
Yep.
same weekend, or when Taz and Mike Awesome wrestled for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, when Taz was working in the WWF and Mike Awesome had just signed to
Mhm.
WCW. It was one of those moments that it was like nobody knew it was going to happen. Nobody knew that this was something that was like nobody talked
Yeah.
about it. It was just one of those things that was really special. And I think that showed that when good minds and good people come to a conclusion and a decision to do what's best for this sport and do what's about all wrestling matters, that term,
Yeah.
I think that D'Angelo LaFlame showing up in the Alliance Wrestling League, doing what he did in Gold Rush, having the success in wrestling there a couple different times, defending successfully the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Championship, it showed that obviously that everybody can come to the table and work together. And it kind of puts to bed, I think, some of the different things that are out there, because if AWL and Resurrection can work together, we all can work together. And then obviously that's continued that work, because now we're going to see D'Angelo as a part of the riot in the ring. And I think, again, just credit to everybody that shows you the leadership of the likes of Joseph Tibbs and Steven Silvestri. It said, you know what, D'Angelo the Flame, he's a great talent. But like you said, you know what, he's not just for Resurrection. He's for everybody and all the wrestling fans out there,
Yeah.
fans of this platform, AWL, the Alliance Wrestling League, their fans, their locker room got to see really, what we can do when we work together. Because I always say, together we will win. And I think that showed that, and it speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Speaking of people, though, that would like to say something, let's get to a few things here first. Jack Spade, the icon, would like to say, fun fact, the name Saturday Night Riot was the name of BCW's weekly show. Yes, it's a throwback
Yeah.
for the vets of Resurrection. That's definitely a very well said point.
Yeah. Brady
Miss,
Championship Wrestling. Yeah.
Mr. Allen would like to say something that touches upon a man that I think is going to come up here shortly and take you a slight detour off, Mr. LaFlame. Seeing this whole Thorne and Jakoby issue or beef, I don't
Atomic
know what Thorne is
Dream.
thinking. He must have the atomic titan syndrome, but hopefully it gets solved. And speaking of that, Xavier Thorne is here, and he has to say a couple of things. Whether you know it or not, your demise
Oh
is coming.
Jesus.
Your
T1,
cause of
get
death.
out of here.
What do you want to say about that? Because he's giving you the final
Tom,
shot,
Tom.
apparently. Yes.
Okay. Tom, if the final shot is where his boot goes right here and completely misses my head, why do I You know what, Tom? Why? Why would I care?
I don't
Why
know,
would I
but he's
care?
allowed to come on.
I've
He
been
came
hit
on.
harder. Like like when me and my buddies were 5 or 6 years old on the trampoline, I've been hit harder. That final shot didn't do anything. I made him look good because I'm a respectable guy. But Key One, you cannot wrestle. You cannot hit any final shot. And I say Key One, that's Thorne's real name for any of you who don't know. The reason I say his real name is because my real name's Jakoby. Jakoby hates Key One. There's no rest here. It's real. It's reality now. He took this from pro wrestling, Tom, to reality. He took it a step up. He wanted to go there. He wanted there. I was actually in a hospital because of him. Seriously. Like there's no gimmicks, there's no kayfabe. That's real. That's real life.
And how does that make you feel?
Yeah. So that's how I feel about Xavier. Or how does that make me feel? Well, it obviously angers me. It upsets me because I missed action because of him. So it obviously annoys me, but I understand why he's doing it. He was never cared for by anybody. He was never loved by anyone. And so he takes that and it really upsets him and it makes him angry and he wants to be accepted.
So
That's all he wants,
why
Tom.
did Resurrection bring him back then? Some people were asking me from other promotions he worked for, and they asked me, and I'm like, I have no idea. And they said, why did Rezi bring him back? Why did Steven Silvestri bring him back? And with all due respect to Steven Silvestri, from what you're telling me, Steven Silvestri gave like a half-ass answer, and he had a few half-ass things to say. So, with all due respect to those things,
Mhm.
why did Resurrection Wrestling and Steven Silvestri bring him back?
I think answer for Steven because in my what I told Steve was keep him away, keep him out of this. Steven said to me the day of Fate or Fortune, he said, he calls me on the telephone. I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to be at Fate or Fortune. I'm just going to sit at home, relax, and rest my arms. Steven calls me. He says, hey, Jakoby, I know you're hurt right now, but we might need a little favor for you. Do you mind commentating? And I say, absolutely, thing for the
Yep. Oh,
company.
we watched
So I
it. Yes,
drive
we
down to
watched.
Memphis. I'm sitting. Right, I'm sitting there in the commentary booth by Joseph Tibbs, having a great time watching some fantastic wrestling. T1 pulls up in his car, hops out, runs over to me, and starts hitting. Or at first, talking. He's yelling in my face. I say, okay, get out of here, you little rallion. Get out of my face. You're not gonna do anything. And you know do anything. And then he had the stones to actually do something. He hits me in the head with a microphone. He drags me over to the ring post, sets my arm up. This time he actually connected where he was aiming on his cause of death. Hurt my arm a little bit more, and I having to go back to the hospital to get that checked out. Well, not the hospital, but back inside to the medical, team there at the show, and they had to tape me up a little bit more underneath the arm, throw the arm sling back on, and then they were like, by that point, intermission was over and the show was back on, and I said, I think I'll be fine commentating some more. Just get him out of here. And sure enough, they got him out of here. And then I called Steve afterwards. I said, if man, you can't let him come back. You gotta hire better security. You gotta figure something out here because I'm not gonna keep coming to these shows
Maybe you think
injured if I'm
Silvestri's
just
not the
gonna
right. Maybe, but
attack.
maybe Silvestri's not the right man for the job. Maybe Silvestri should stick to refereeing. Maybe
I
Silvestri should
think
stick fixing the social media
I
pages. I don't know.
quite frankly what I think and don't take this anyway, Steve, if you're watching, don't take this anyway. Still love you like a brother. But I think Steven Silvestri is the biggest kiss ass in all of professional wrestling.
You know, it's
as
funny
of
you said
today.
that because I've heard different things off the air. That is Steven Silvestri. Is he a brown noser? Is Steven Silvestri a suck up? Is Steven Silvestri really the right man for a job? Because
Oh, he
when it
is.
comes to leadership, when it comes to those tough skills, you have to make those tough decisions. I
Yeah.
don't know if Steven Silvestri is the right man for that job.
Mhm.
Obviously, I love Steven Silvestri. I think Steven Silvestri is a wonderful up and coming talent. But some have said that
Yeah.
is he the right man for the job? Because you need to make tough decisions. You need to be able to act like a leader. And
Yeah.
it seems like he's not able to really come
Mhm.
across like a leader. That, again, not my opinion, but that's what I've heard through the grapevine.
Okay, and here's my outlook on that, right? I think that he is new to the job. He has always been a good guy saying no, but unfortunately, that's what you got to do in his position. Now, I say give him a little while. Give him a little
Yeah,
while to get
I
used to
agree.
saying no to people because he is getting better. He is getting better. Give him to get used to that. Let him ease into it. That's why I'm not being too hard on him. And I'm saying, as of right, he's the biggest kiss ass in all of professional wrestling. And Thorne has his pants down right in front of
But
him.
you know what, though? But kiss asses
It's simple
aren't
as
good at
that.
this
But
point, though. But kiss asses, you don't need that right now. We need
no,
tough leadership. We need, kiss
no,
assing and
you
from a
don't.
kid. A
Too.
kid, he's a kid. I mean, ultimately
Yeah.
we need leaders. But before I do something that's gonna certainly shake things up, Thorne, the only demise is you putting people to sleep with you running your mouth. Here's an idea, Thorne. If you have a
Yeah.
friend, Resi,
Quite frankly.
and if Jakoby needs an ally, well, never say never. But Jakoby, there is somebody that apparently wants to give a receipt. He wants a few minutes on this platform about what you've just said. And
Oh
apparently,
God. Hold
Steven
on,
Sylvester,
Tom. Yes. Let me guess. Let me guess. Let me
Steven
guess. Mashed
Silvestri has
potato
put us up
brains.
to it. Well, you're gonna find out because apparently Steven Silvestri has put him on this platform and he's requested a microphone. And I'm not talking about Anthony Steele. I'm talking about Xavier Thorne. The
Just
standout
when you
Xavier
thought
Thorne.
I was gone.
Mashed potato brains. Okay. Tom, I wanted to be respectful on your show, but now you
No,
brought
it's
this numb
okay.
nuts in front of me once more, and very disrespectful. So, Kiwan, go ahead, speak your piece, my friend. Go ahead,
First of all, Tom, how are
and use
you, my
friend
friend?
lightly,
Good to
might I
see you,
add.
Mr. Thorne. I thought you were the
Good to
stand.
see you.
I thought you were
Good,
the
good to
stand.
see you. Good to see you, Tom. It's always good to see you. It's always good
You
to be
too.
on Sportswire.
Thank you very
Um,
much. What can I do
Get
for
to
you
the
tonight?
point.
What can I do
a,
for you?
a couple of things I want to say before I continue watching this clusterfuck of an interview between him. For one,
You left
Jakoby,
yours, my guy. Don't talk to me about
Jakoby,
clusterfuck.
hey. I've sat here for 30 minutes watching you flap
Hey,
your
I'm bro.
gums, okay? Now it's my turn, okay? For one,
Okay.
Jakoby,
Uh huh.
you and Steven are working together. There's no way, there's no nothing around it. You know you have Steven in your back pocket and there are receipts to prove that. Because for the simplest effect,
Uh, Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne, we can't hear you. We lost signal,
Not
Mr. Thorne.
listening. I'm not listening.
Mr. Thorne, you're on mute. Mr.
Tom,
Thorne.
Tom, you see this?
Mr. Thorne, you're on mute. Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne. Mr. Thorne.
You
Mr.
goofball.
Thorne. This is anarchist gunshot, like
Oh, this is
basically
the greatest thing I've
audio
ever
here.
seen in my life. Tom.
I thought C2K talk show was really bad. This isn't now, but Mr. Thorne. Hello, Mr. Thorne. He left. I
Oh,
guess
thank
the
you,
internet
Jesus.
kicked him
Oh,
out.
thank you, Jesus. I'm about to
Did
start
the
singing
internet kick him
praise.
out? Listen,
I'm about
did
to.
I think he lost to the internet, apparently. The internet beat him. Apparently he's back. Let's see if he's
Oh,
got it
that's
right. Xavier
hilarious.
Thorne,
there we
did you
go.
tap out to the internet? Xavier
Oh,
Thorne, I'm
good
giving you the
God. All
There
floor.
we
right. It
go.
was fun while it lasted.
Xavier
Oh,
Thorne,
Jesus
are
Christ.
you there?
Hopefully it cut you off again. Oh, good God.
Can,
Xavier
can,
Thorne.
can you hear me now?
Now
Unfortunately, yes. Hurry
does
up.
the internet pin you? Go ahead, Xavier
Okay.
Thorne.
Jacoby, here's my thing with you. If you just so happen to be D'Angelo the Flame, you have a lot to deal with me. See, you can do all of that all you want to. See, the only reason you won at Fallout was because that was a sorry ass excuse of a pity match for you. That was a sorry ass excuse of a last minute match for you. So that's why you got a match against a has-been that ain't been seen in I don't know how long. You're kissing, you talking about kiss ass, you kiss ass.
And what are you?
Because for the simplest effects, you sit here and you beg and beg and beg for opportunity against a man that is so-called the darling of the backyard wrestling today. When I faced him, he was nothing more than just a fucking victim.
I have a question. Key one. Numb nuts. I have a question. When did I beg anything? I think, as far as I'm concerned, I beat your ass at Lockdown. We're not talking about Fallout. We're not talking about J Storm. I beat your ass at Lockdown to earn an opportunity at LaFlame. So what are you talking? You were there. You were there, Key1. How do you not remember this? You were there in living color. You were there.
That half-ass match
at
Lockdown, I forgot all about that. That was half-ass too.
That's your fault. That's your fault. It was half-assed.
Mainly
you
because
put in any effort. Just like you don't put in any effort for these promos. You don't think about them. You don't think before you talk.
Mr. Thorne, if
your wife needs something, go tend to her.
Mr. Thorne, are you in the Mr. Thorne, are you in the bathroom? Mr. Thorne.
You know what?
My good friend, Mr. Thorne.
Get ghetto ass Steve Harvey off my screen before I get fucking before I get mad.
Back on the other time. Do you have a final look? I know you're in the bathroom. I know you're in. I would suggest Mr. Thorne. Ladies and gentlemen, you thought things are bad.
This is my interview.
You know, I gotta be honest, Jakoby. Jakoby, he works back. Let me give him 30 seconds. Mr. Thorne, you got the 2 minutes because you're in the bathroom. 2 minutes. Are you doing a number 1 or a number 2?
You have one. You better hurry your ass up.
Mr. Thorne.
Okay, blah, blah, blah. We get it. Half-ass, whatever. Hurry it up. Come on.
Mr. Thorne.
Come on.
When I finally get my hands on you.
1 minute. Come on, Thorne.
When I get my fucking hands on you, you're not facing.
What are you going to do to me?
You're not facing anybody else. You're facing a man that's broken. You're facing a man that's entitled to rip your fucking head off once and for all. Shit. You can have this internet championship match, but by God, Jakoby, you better pray to whoever the fucking is that you pray to that I don't get my hands on you. Because if I do, it's going to be your fucking head. And I promise you. This ain't no shoot. This ain't no promo. This ain't no work. This is a state fucking fact.
All right, Mr. Thorne. And he left. Mr. Xavier Thorne has left the building. And did he? I want to know for our listeners. And I obviously love Mr. Thorne. But here's the question, Jakoby. I got a burning question. This is the most important question tonight. Was he doing a number 1 or number 2? Okay.
Oh, he was definitely doing a number 1. He sits down and does it, and you can't convince me otherwise. And he sat there and he played on his phone, and then he clicked on the YouTube link because he saw it pop up, and he said, I'm going to get on here. And then came in there saying, give me this. And so, he got distracted. I heard her in the background. He should be taking care of his family right now, not sitting on the toilet on Sportzwire. This is my interview. As far as I'm concerned, he's got a wife and a kid to tend to. So go do that before things get personal. Even
I mean, it sounded like I think most of our listeners.
Hilarious. I needed that laugh.
Well, most of our listeners, I mean, even Luz Cannon, of course, who's the Triple W owner, and he's, I believe, that one of their main champions said also he's actually in the bathroom. Yeah, he's actually in the bathroom. He said he sucks. Joshua Allen's like he's got the McDonald's, McDonald's Wi-Fi. And that's what I got to deal with from D'Angelo LaFlame, meaning he's talking about, obviously, when it comes to certainly Mr. Thorne, and it's called a promo Thorne, learn it. Also, Mr. Thorne is saying that he had to leave. He basically said he had to. He said he had to leave, and CJ Black says, "I'm just going to chill in
Yeah, he
ROEW.
had to
No more
leave.
travel."
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you he's got a family to take care of. He's over here on live yelling at me with some nonsense. I mean, how I beg and beg and beg. Tom, I beat him. It
No, it's a
happened.
fact. The facts are
That was
facts.
the
The facts
match.
are
You
facts.
saw it.
Yep, we watched it.
The
Absolutely, we
facts are
spoke about it
facts,
last
and he's
week. No,
spewing nonsense.
no, you beat him. Listen, you beat him fair and square, but obviously Mr. Thorne had different ideas, and he wanted to come on here and give
Josh
us.
Allen, grab a King He's the best barf bag. You can
And
grab
how
King
many times have
and
you
throw
destroyed
up all
Thorne?
over him.
A lot. I mean, you've definitely destroyed him here. It
Dude,
seems like tonight you destroyed him in
MCW,
lockdown.
that was his own company, Resurrection. And if he wants another ass whooping, then he's more than welcome to here and receive it. He just does this. He never throws dukes, man.
So what is he?
So
I
yeah, a
still
couple
want to
of
know,
times.
what is he doing in Resurrection Wrestling? Then, if you say all these things, what is he doing here?
Steve, you're in this chat, right? Answer the question for me, Steve. Because I've been
I don't
an
see Steve
answer for that
Silvestri.
question
Steve
for a long,
Silvestri's
long
always
time
here
now,
with
Tom.
Resurrection Facts, and I don't see what Steven Silvestri is right now. I have no idea.
Well, he's probably writing up a new contract for Xavier Thorne right now because, oh God, he loves Xavier Thorne.
But
Oh,
you know, it's
I
interesting that you say
wouldn't
that,
be
though.
surprised if Steve was the one calling him.
But you know, it's interesting you said that as we're speaking with Jakoby, the number one contender to the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Championship. You can follow Resurrection Wrestling and all of their links below. Obviously, Saturday Night Riot is going to take place here in a few short weeks. That'll be, I believe, 3 weeks or 20 days from this Saturday. So make sure you go out there and support Resurrection Wrestling on all of their platforms: Instagram, Patreon, Redbubble for merchandise. You can check them out on Facebook, TikTok. So many great ways to get in touch with Resurrection Wrestling, one of our favorite companies. But it's interesting, Jakoby, because Xavier Thorne is here in Resurrection. He's a part of the company, but it seems like there's a man that would like to, I guess, come back to Resurrection Wrestling. It seems to be some, I guess, uncertainty. In fact, Steven Silvestri commented, according to Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid, last night on Sportswire Radio, about a gentleman you've probably seen a few times around the bush, Anthony Steele, the real deal, that Steven Silvestri said that Anthony Steele, the real deal, though, is no longer and could not be welcomed in Resurrection Wrestling. And yet Xavier Thorne is a part of the roster, but it seems like Anthony Steele is not. And I was just wondering what your impressions were on that, because obviously Ronnie Brady announced it last night on this platform with Anthony Steele that Steven Silvestri will not allow Anthony Steele back in Resurrection Wrestling. But yet, as you say, and many people say, Xavier Thorne is here, and there's a sort of a cloud of uncertainty as to why.
I'll say one sentence about that, and here's it. Yeah, Steven Silvestri said he would not allow Anthony Steele Resurrection ring. He would not give Anthony permission to step back in the ring. But I want you to name one instance where Anthony Steele has followed rules. Now, I'm not saying anything's official. I don't know anything. I'm not a huge insider. I'm just a worker. But what I can tell you is that I believe that one day we may or may not see him back in a ring. Again, I have no info on that. I don't for sure. I don't know anything. I'm a good friend of Steele's, and I know, very little bits and pieces, but nothing for sure. Again, all I know about Anthony Steele is he does not follow the rules. And like you said, it seems like he wants back in Resurrection Wrestling.
What do you make of that, though, that Anthony Steele wants back in Resurrection Wrestling? What do you think about that? You've been, obviously, with Resi. You've been loyal to the company. What do you think about that? What do you think?
I'm happy. I'm very happy. I want Anthony Steele back. I want that presence in our life. There are times where he has done things that I'm sure he is not proud of, but hasn't everyone, Tom? Hasn't everybody?
Absolutely. Listen, I mean, there's
plenty of not proud
listen.
Of. The only thing you can do is move forward.
I'm being straight up, and I say things all the time on this platform. I mean, everybody has their instance. Nobody's perfect, right? As last I checked, nobody's perfect out there. I mean, everybody has something. And We all have our flaws. I mean, I
Absolutely
think
not.
at the end of the day, from a pure talent aspect, Anthony Steele should be in any promotion. I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it's about inside the ring rather than outside the ring. Certainly I can't speak for the politics of it. I'm not in the politics of Resurrection Wrestling or any wrestling promotion. And I look at the end of the day, what his body of work shows that
Mm,
any company would certainly, at least to see what his talent has to offer with some of the up and coming talent in Resurrection Wrestling. I think that he would be an outstanding fit. Look,
yeah.
I've covered him in other promotions. Obviously, in XCW, there's been some issues there. Some people in that locker room have had their issues with him. Others love him. In TBW, they don't want him back, and they have their
Mm,
reasons, and they're absolutely entitled to that. Any promotion has any reasons to be why, for, or against anything. I have no right to judge anybody on what they want to do. It's their God-given right. It's their promotion. I have no reason to judge them, and I have no right to even question their decisions. But what I would say at the end of the day, that as a wrestling fan, I just love to see people wrestle, and whatever happens, happens. But I do look at it like, if Xavier Thorne's in Resurrection Wrestling, why can't Anthony Steele be in Resurrection Wrestling?
like I said, Steve's the kiss ass, and that's all he's gonna do for Thorne. I mean, all day long, he loves Xavier Thorne. But there's never say never of wrestling. That's kind of the whole motto of professional wrestling is never say never. And there was a time where if you had Anthony Steele in Resurrection Wrestling, I would have said never.
Oh,
Now
I
is
would
not
say
one of them.
as of 2 months ago, that would have
Uh,
been. Listen, I would tell you the 100% the same thing. I would be on this platform, and Anthony would be here, and guys in
mm,
Resi, as we call it, wouldn't be here. You know, if I talked about Aaron Blaze, for example, yesterday, guys in
right.
TBW or outside of TBW would have said hell freezes over before we say his name. But the facts are is that when you look at the end of the day, what's best for the community, what's best for people, guys like Anthony Steele, guys like Aaron Blaze, guys like Jack Delta, guys that travel, there's certainly people that, have something to say. You know, for sure. I think at
Absolutely.
the end of the day, that's what's best. Let me get to a bunch of comments here. First of all, I guess if he
Okay.
wants more of you like a hemorrhoid, you deserve better. Jakoby, you're one hell of a wrestler. Congratulations. You may know this
I
person. I
appreciate
want
it,
to
bro.
certainly say hello to that.
Oh, hey,
Also,
baby.
yeah.
Hi.
Okay,
That is my lady friend.
so let me ask you this
Yes, yes.
question then. We spoke a lot in the past, and I do have a couple people that want to say a few things to you real quick, and I'm going to bring them on shortly. But what would you say is your goals in 2024?
Oh, my goals. Are we talking wrestling or are we talking personal? What are we talking?
Wrestling. I'm
I'm
not talking
assuming wrestling.
personal. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not talking
Okay.
personal stuff.
I can't get into personal if you want, Tom.
No,
I'm an open book, but
you can go on
wrestling
entertainment
goals,
tonight and do that. Yeah, we're talking wrestling.
of course. I understand you figured I'd ask, but hey, uh, see, wrestling goals beat D'Angelo the Flame. That's a huge one. That's up there on the board. Um, have a lengthy run with the belt. I want a decent run. I want at least 100 days with the title. At least I want to try and hold it for quite some time. Beat P1's ass once more. I really look forward to doing that, whether he's in California or Atlanta or anywhere in Georgia or Memphis or anywhere around parts. Then I will gladly give what he has so rightfully earned over the last few months with me. Other than that, nothing too huge. I mean, I want to win as many matches as I can, leave a decent footprint in Resurrection history, and just cement my name as one of the top guys in the company. That's I think was the goal. So
What would
yeah.
it mean? What would it mean to you to be the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Champion?
It would mean everything to me. I am gonna, dive a little bit into personal here because this has so much to do with my life as a whole. Um, Jakoby with a C and an I, not a K and a Y. But when I was younger, I had a really friend who has unfortunately since passed, and we used to talk all the time about being champions in wrestling, whether that be something, you know, in comparison to like a WWE title or like a smaller promotion title. Regardless, being a champion was our, you know, goal. That was what we were looking at, and now that he's gone, we can't do it. I plan to do it to honor him and in his legacy. I get to take that title to his grave. I get to, like Cody said in his first promo back in WWE, I don't get to physically bestow it on his hands, but I do get to show him that his best friend did it. He did it regardless, with or without him, And I want him to see that. I think he will be there for that in spirit. Um, so that's a. I know it's deep, Tom. I don't mean to get deep here,
No,
but
no, no, no. Listen, there's a whole bunch of
that's one
different
of my
things
main.
for sure. No, I could totally sympathize, and
Right.
people have different things, but I want to get to somebody real quick who's got a few quick minutes to say something totally unrelated to this. I'm going to bring somebody on that has something related to you, and I promise you it's not Xavier Thorne, but he wants to address something somebody said about him last night real
Thank
quick.
God.
That
Okay.
is Mr. Omen Black.
Omen
Omen,
Black,
how are
you
you?
doing, sir?
Omen, I know you're not talking about us, but I know there was something that was out there that you'd like to put a few minutes on before we move on for the rest of the show. I got a couple people I want to get to for a few minutes, but obviously it's good to be with you as always, my friend. Hope you're doing well. It is your show after all, and what's on your mind here real quick, my friend? How are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I do. Go ahead, go for it. What's on your mind?
Sorry, I had a phone call come in. Jakoby, never met you before, but hey, I watch Resurrection. I'm praying for you, even though I'm a LaFlame fan myself. But
Okay.
But I want to address something that happened last night on
Yeah, I
Sportswire.
respect.
But
Absolutely.
thanks, man. Thank you. But I want to address something that came on Sportswire last night. But
Okay.
this Joe Loose Cannon and Craven Rage, the guy I hate so much. See, people want to come out of the woodwork and say they've been calling out Craven Rage for a whole year, which we know it's been me calling out Craven Rage for a whole year.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So, as much as I love the people riding on my coattails, just stop. There's only one person that started calling out people on Sportswire, and that's me. Jakoby, I know this sounds a lot, but I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a certain person watching right now in the comments.
Oh, that be Loose Cannon by any chance? That ring a bell?
Exactly.
Okay.
And now he's getting a match with Craven Rage? Really?
That's what it seems. I mean, he came on and said that he was the one for over a year that was challenging Craven Rage. He was the real person. And, you're this hardcore god, boogeyman of the Midwest, who's really been wrestling people where, these guys in Triple W, they seem like they're on Fisher-Price training wheels, according to some.
See, I'm wrestling real competitors, real names, real pros, while certain people in Wisconsin are wrestling
Sorry,
a
the
guy,
internet kicked me, guys.
wrestling a guy who pretends to be a wolf, wrestling a guy who thinks he's part of the bloodline, wrestling a guy like Tyler Ark, shit like that. Slow your roll, all right?
So it's safe to say then that Loose Cannon should maybe figure out maybe his next line of opportunities rather than being in a wrestling ring, even with a Craven Rage, and that Loose Cannon was basically banned from the IMF and kicked out, and he really shouldn't come back here and try to call out people when it's really you've been the real guy that's been doing that, whereas Loose Cannon, should probably focus on maybe finding a different Fred Durst type of hat to wear, right?
It's fine. He can call whoever he wants, but don't sit there and say that you've been the one calling out Craven Rage.
He even wanted his spot in the Hall of Fame last night.
Well, you know me. I'm collecting Hall of Fame spots like crazy, so might as well just give it to me.
That's true. I mean, we could certainly consider that. But so basically, you just wanted to get on here real quick to address the fact that Loose Cannon really has no business to call out Craven Rage, and that Craven Rage has still never answered you, which is obviously a fact.
I mean, at least give me credit. Like you stole it from me, loose cannon. You're stealing my whole shtick. I've been calling Craven Rage out, not you.
So basically, loose cannon should go back to maybe working for the Boston Red Sox, is what you're telling me.
Exactly. And he said he was in 2 death matches, and now he wants a steel cage death match with Craven Rage.
No, he actually wanted a steel cage death match with Anthony Steele. That's what he wanted.
You buffoon! And they're in a steel cage.
Well, apparently he wants to sign the waiver, and he's all about it for Summer Bash. So I don't know. Listen, but basically, just to confirm, we're gonna come back to Jakoby in a second. But basically,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jakoby. I don't mean to steal your time, man. But
You're good, man. I'm sorry the internet kicked in
Loose
for you.
Cannon basically has no right to do anything. Should he apologize to you? Would you like him to apologize maybe to you during the week at some point? Should he apologize, you think?
His apology means nothing. He's apologized so much already. Does it really mean anything anymore?
So he's like the loose cannon that cried wolf. Then basically,
he's the loose cannon that cried Craven Rage. That's what it is.
Okay, all right. Anything else you'd like to share about that? Because I'm sure that we'll get a response soon. And would you like me to bring Mr. Cannon back on the platform in the coming days to allow him to maybe be taken to the woodshed, more or less, to maybe be addressed directly and personally by his former IMF colleague, maybe, and you, Mr. Black? It is your show, after all.
Oh, for sure. Because let's just be honest. He doesn't get the hint when he comes on the Sportswire. People are behind him. They're so behind him because they're laughing at him. That's why.
So how is this coming Saturday night then? Let's say at, I don't know, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, that maybe Mr. Cannon will be here and maybe the firing shots could be coming at him, let's say, faster than a New York minute?
I don't know about that. You know what? Fuck it. I might be done at Rage in the Cage by then. So right after my match, I'll come on right on the Sportswire.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm sure that Mr. Cannon will be here, and he'll have, I'm sure, a lot to contend with, a lot to deal with, and
Oh, by the way, I was told to say something nice about a certain someone, Triple W, but I guess he's now the new Triple W Hardcore Champion. A championship he never won, or never beat anyone for. I guess Silverwolf, congratulations for being a fucking mark for a belt that you never won because someone had to hand it to you.
Well, you know what? Those gentlemen are going to have to handle that. You know what? But actually, one more thing before I let you go, Mr. Black, and I want to come back to Jakoby here shortly. But let me ask you, though, unless you want. Now, instead, I could have Mr. Cannon Saturday, but, Thursday, you and the rest of the IMF crew are going to be here. Would you like Mr. Cannon to be here? And maybe would you like him to, deal with these accusations that he's made for the past year about Craven Rage? Would you like him to make a guest appearance? I could be more than happy to do that for you. I know you're busy Saturday. We could just bring him on here Thursday night. You guys are taking over the platform that night. So if you like, I could bring Mr. Cannon on here for a few minutes and, if you'd like to face him face to face, I'm sure Loose Cannon, because he's now a deathmatch hardcore wrestling star.
Yeah,
he's comfortable with that stuff. He's very comfortable with that stuff. So he's all comfortable about it. He's been in death matches. He's certainly now stepped up to the likes of Jimmy Controversy, who, by the way, works in Resurrection Wrestling, or Mac 10. Those respected wrestlers. Would you like now Mr. Cannon to make a special appearance Thursday so he could, face a hardcore god and a boogeyman of the Midwest on his show? Would you like him to say hello and pop by?
Listen, Tom, you did something so foul just there by putting Jimmy Controversy and Mac 10 and myself with the likes of Loose Cannon.
Well, maybe that's why you'd like to have a chat with Mr. Cannon, because now he's hardcore now. He's as hardcore as like gangster rappers like Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. And, he's certainly maybe even more gangster, such as the likes of Corrupt, and, even more hardcore as the likes of, NWA Once Upon a Time, or, the No Limit Soldiers. He's now in that lane, because after all, he does wear the backwards hats like Fred Durst.
Oh
so, I mean, so certainly, Wu-Tang Clan has nothing on Loose Cannon. That does rhyme after all, but
how dare you? How dare you bring up the Clan?
Maybe that is something you would like.
How dare you insult the Wu-Tang Clan?
Oh,
Okay,
they grew up
well,
not too far from where I live, currently in the Stapleton projects. I think I could certainly say a few things about them. I even know one of my buddies used to live right down the street from him in South Beach, but that's a different conversation for a different time. Yes, I know my rap, but
See, I don't. The thing is, if it was just up to me, I would say, yeah, bring Loose Cannon on Thursday. But you know
it's
what?
my platform. If we're going to be for shooting, it's my platform. If you like to
Of
say
course
hello
it
to me,
is. Of course it is. You have the final say. But you know what?
you know what? I'd like to see Mr. Cannon with you for a few minutes. Would you like to address him Thursday night? I'd be more than happy to bring him on for a special appearance.
You know, if you're twisting my arm, Tom, which you are,
The people
yeah,
want to see it.
the
It brings
people
the
want
ratings.
it. The
The
people
fact
really want
is, the people want to
I
see it.
want
They
to
don't
see
want
it.
to see like the respected British wrestlers like Dean Allmark and
Yeah.
R.P. Davis. They don't want to see that. At the end of the day, they
They,
want to see
they want to see
brutality.
Loose
They
Cannon.
want to see homicide. They want to see hate wrestling crimes on this platform. And we know at the end of the day, Loose Cannon and Triple W are going to come on here and you're going to say a few things, and Loose Cannon's going to say what he's going to say. And that's what the people want because they don't want to see the respected interviews. When we bring on Dean Allmark and R.P. Davis and Bentley, they don't want that. They want to see, you and Loose Cannon, and it goes into we'll see if Loose Cannon really is hardcore and he just signed his death certificate.
Yeah, bring him on. You know what? It's fine to have the two guys I hate the most, Damien Saint and Loose Cannon, on the same fucking show. That's fine.
Well, maybe you'll be motivated for Saturday. How about that?
Oh, yeah, more than motivated.
Well, Loose Cannon, I don't know if you got a death certificate, but you got a certificate to come on Sportswire Radio, and we'll see if you're really a deathmatch guy and hardcore, and we'll see
Jakoby,
then.
I'm warning you right now. If a guy named Loose Cannon wants to join Resurrection, say
Oh no, it's fine.
no.
Guess what?
They've
Guess
got
what?
Xavier
Omen,
Thorne already. They have
Omen,
their own
Omen,
issues to deal with.
He's
Oh, you
already
already have a Loose
blacklisted
Cannon.
right
That's
now.
fine.
Already. One
Okay.
phone call and the dude's blacklisted from our company. It ain't happening.
Okay, Mr. Black.
Yeah.
So we'll see you Thursday. And Loose Cannon.
I forgot. You guys already have Thorn, so you guys already have a Loose Cannon problem.
Oh, we have a handful of tomfoolery. Don't worry. We don't need loose
Except for
cannon.
LaFlame. I'm sorry, Jakoby, but LaFlame's my guy, so.
That's fine. Again, respect on both sides, man. I respect the hell out of LaFlame. He's a great performer. Again, I'm gonna be throwing a shot at him. We'll see how it
And I'm
goes.
going to get to that. I just want to say, Mr. Black, obviously always good to see you.
Yeah,
I know you're going to be doing some big things with PWF. I know you're going to be here Thursday. And Loose Cannon, can't wait to see you on
Also,
Thursday. Yes.
Resurrection, hit me up. I would love to come to Resurrection.
Well, we have a general manager, Steven Silvestri. I thought he would be here. He's always making sure, correct me on factual statistics on Resurrection Wrestling, always reminding me about the logos in Resurrection Wrestling. And where is Steven Silvestri?
I don't. Well, I'll call him after this interview, and we'll set something up, Omen. Don't worry.
Excellent.
I think Resurrection needs the boogeyman of the Midwest to show up.
If they got Jimmy Controversy, why not Omen Black?
Well,
they also got Mac 10, so.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, Mac's a hometown guy, but Jimmy travels.
All I know is I would love to have a guy like Omen Black in my locker room. Great knowledge, great, just an overall great performer. Much respect to you, Omen. And
I appreciate it, man.
I'd love to have you in a locker room with me. That's all I can say on a personal note.
All right, awesome stuff, Mr.
All
Black.
wrestling matters, man. I appreciate it.
I love that. Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for all that you do, my friend. I'm going to see you Thursday. And
except for Triple W, they can go fuck themselves. But
I can't endorse that, but I'm going to say I can endorse you Thursday, and I'll look forward to seeing you and Loose Cannon once again be reunited as IMF, old time buddies.
All right.
That was Mr. Omen Black. I have a quick. I have somebody has 5 minutes. I'm counting him 5 minutes. He wants something to say about. We addressed a few things on him.
Anthony,
okay, Anthony. I'm cool with Anthony.
What's good?
I got you clocked in for 5 minutes because I got a guest that's going to come on here related to Resurrection. So
that's fine.
Man, we got a ton of guests.
Yeah. What up, Cobes?
What's up, Steel? How you been, man?
I'm doing all right, man.
Love to hear.
Thank you. It's a trademark. I trademarked it.
Oh yeah.
How you doing, Mr. Steele? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, man. Just gotta fucking talk to Steve. Try to fucking get him to accept me in Resurrection again.
I was telling Jakoby about that. That Ronnie Brady announced that Steven Silvestri said you can't come into Resurrection Wrestling, and Xavier Thorne's a part of the roster, but you don't seem to be a part of the roster. And why do you think that is?
Controversy.
But they have Jimmy
Lot of it.
controversy already. They have Jimmy.
I mean,
Not that kind of controversy,
yeah,
Tom.
man. I don't know, man. It is what it is, and
Again, Anthony, look me in the eyes. When have you ever followed rules, man? That's all I'm gonna tell you. I don't. You know, just saying.
it is what
You
it
need a
is.
ride. I know where the ring's at. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, I know where the ring's at.
Fair enough.
I know where the ring's at.
All right. Okay.
Um,
Don't get me
Anthony,
involved.
I just want to say it again. I was saying this to Jakoby. I don't know if you heard what I had to say, but as a wrestling fan, leave aside, knowing all these people that come on here, knowing that there's an audience for it, just as a wrestling fan, I would like to see you wrestle. People can say what they want, every single time. And obviously your girlfriend used a super chat, and I want to say that she wants to say that she loves you. And I want to say that you should put away the $2 next time. I'm going to reimburse you for the $2 if you want, because you shouldn't have put the $2 down for that. But it's a super chat message. That's why she put $2 down for a super chat message. But I do want to say, as a wrestling fan, I would love to see you wrestle anywhere, Anthony. I'd love to see you wrestle D'Angelo LaFlame. I'd love to see you wrestle Jakoby. I'd love to see you wrestle even Xavier Thorne. I'd love to see you wrestle, Drake Golddragon. How about Rage? How about anybody out there?
You know who I really want to wrestle? Kobe, you know. Ronnie Brady. I feel like Ronnie Brady has a big part in this.
But he was next to you, and he said he didn't have the decision. It was Stephen Silvestris.
Ronnie Brady lies. I know Ronnie Brady. Ronnie Brady isn't going to tell the real deal, the truth, because he doesn't. How do I put this nicely? Ronnie Brady doesn't want Anthony Steele back in Resurrection for the simple fact that I'm the one dude that Ronnie Brady can't seem to understand how to beat. And I get it. I really do get it. But Ronnie, one of these days, I'm gonna catch you lacking. I'll say that. I'm gonna catch you lacking, and I'm gonna be back in Resurrection. And then at that point, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing that anybody can do about it. So
I'll endorse it.
Whenever that does happen, I mean, hell will officially 100% be frozen over. Which brings me to my next thing. Gage Flair, Josh Allen, Atomic Titan, Russell Cooper.
Okay. What about them? They work in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling.
Anthony Holloway wants to have a conversation with y'all.
That's Anthony Holloway. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, that would be your real name last I checked?
Yeah.
That's the guy.
I wanna have a chat with y'all. Man to man. No bullshit. I want to fix this. I want to put all that shit that happened years ago in the past, keep it there, and bury that shit. I'm a new man. Like, I really am. I was in a dark place around the time that everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not in a dark place no more. I'm still gonna be the real deal, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all.
Let me ask you a question here, and I'm going to bring somebody on here in a few minutes, which will mean you're going to have to exit stage left for this. But let me ask you, though, a question, Mr. Steele, if you don't mind me, or Mr. Holloway. I don't know how you want to be addressed. What would you like to say to those individuals, particularly? Anything you'd want to say to them? Because I'm sure that they're out there. I'm sure that they're certainly knowing of the platform, and I'm sure that, those individuals. Now, I know that Mr. Cooper does not have a high opinion of you, because Mr. Cooper has actually said a few things about, yours truly having you on the platform. I love Mr. Cooper's abilities in the ring, but, that's a public fact. And, Mr. Flair is obviously, a respected man. And, what would you like to say to those individuals if they're listening out there?
I'm going to go individually. And I'm going to make it quick because I know, I had time limit. Cooper, I'm going to start with you. When I first met you, you were a chill ass dude. We would sit there and talk all the time. And what happened between me and you escalated very quickly. And I put you in a put you in a situation that you should never been put in, and I sincerely apologize.
Okay.
Gage Flair, actually, Gage, I'm gonna keep you last.
Okay.
Titan, me and you, we've talked here and there. I don't know if the boys know, but if they don't, they probably do now. Um, I I don't have a problem with you, man. If we're gonna break, I'm gonna break kayfabe at this point because I'm talking as me. Uh,
Hmm.
Bro, when I first moved to Tennessee, you were the dude that I've been driving for fucking hours. Had 1 hour of sleep that whole day. Went from Illinois to Indiana, wrestled, and then drove all the way to Tennessee. And you gave me a spot to sleep for the night until I can wake up the next morning and finish my drive. And this is after everything happened with TBW. And I respect you, bud. I love what you're doing. In character, I will never fucking acknowledge you as the hardcore king, but out of character, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Amen.
Josh, never had a problem with you. Still don't. Um, I think you're a cool guy. You're the talks that me and him would have about Elvis Presley because my mom raised me on that shit, and I know a lot of it was cool as fuck. Um, hello, Jakoby's girl. Um,
And I want to say hi to Mr. Jack Delta, who was just wrestling for VTW, which, if you have a chance, check out versus the World Wrestling. So, just want to say hello to Mr. Delta.
but Josh, I don't have a problem with you, man. I don't have an issue with you. Never have. Hopefully, never will.
Okay.
Which leads me all the way to Gage Flair. Gage, me and you, we've buttoned heads a lot. Um, and again, I put myself in a situation that made me very toxic, and I took it out on you and some of your guys. Uh, you know what? After I say this, I got one more person to address, but
All right, because I
which
got
is
2 minutes.
yeah,
I
I
am
got
on
you,
a timer with you because I have to get to resurrection coverage.
Gage. I do apologize. Um, sincerely, you're the one out of all of them I really do want to have a conversation with one on one. If you need someone around to that way you're not alone or feel uncomfortable, I'm fine with it. But I do want to sit here and have a man to man conversation with you and talk to you to your face. Which brings me to the last person, Max Chaos. Yeah, this is going to be the shocker of them all. Max, Brandon, whichever one you want to go by. Shit's stupid. What happened with us? Didn't need to be taking those links. Again, I was in a tight situation, toxic situation, and me and you were the closest out of all of them. And we kind of like fucked a lot of shit up. And do want to have a talk with you one on one to bury that fucking shit 6 feet the fuck under and don't ever dig it the fuck back up because I'm 23 years old, man. I've been saying this for a minute. 23 fucking years old, dude. I don't need the drama. Don't want the drama. My life's going great. My
You
life
got
is
a
going
beautiful,
fucking
you
great.
got a beautiful girl. You got a good
Like,
job. You wrestling again. You got friends, and you
like,
know, at the very least, you want to just be friends with these guys. And I think that's
I
a
mean,
noble thing to do.
if y'all want to be cool, be on a halfway social thing, cool. I'm not asking to immediately come back to TBW. We can work on things if it's possible, cool. I know I'd love to be back in TBW. I know people would love to see me back in TBW. I still say to this day, I want to face Gage Flair. I really do, because I know me and him can put on a banger. Um, but I really do apologize to TBW as a whole, and especially Gage Flair, Josh Allen, Atomic Titan, Russell Cooper, and Max Chaos. I apologize sincerely. Y'all have all my information. If y'all want to talk, let's talk. If you don't, I understand. But I think it's time to actually do it. Be adults and handle this as an adult fucking situation.
All right. Well, you know what? We'll certainly see. I hope for the best. I obviously love TBW. I love Resurrection Wrestling, and I love Anthony Steele. So whatever may happen, I would hope for the best. And if there was anything I could certainly do, I would love to do it. I do think at the end of the day, not that my voice counts, I'd love to see in any company because I'm a wrestling fan. I'm not into the politics. I don't abide by it. I put people on here, and I don't care who comes on here because I just want to talk wrestling. And Copper Dragon, by the way, who was on here, who's the backyard wrestling version of Dave Meltzer, praised me on and off the air for that. And I think that's the only endorsement that I need. He told me, keep bringing on people. It's about all wrestling matters. And that's what I'm about. So if you can do that and those guys can work with you, God bless. God bless America. If not, I'm sure, Anthony, you'll do just fine. There's plenty of other promotions that'll take you. So I wouldn't worry about it. And I want to see you soon, Anthony, because I got to get to more coverage. And I'm sure I'll see you soon.
That's it.
All right, Jakoby. I think there'll be somebody else that'll come on that'll kind of talk about Resurrection, but quite an evening, Jakoby. I mean, you had Xavier Thorne, and his Wi-Fi wasn't very good. You had Omen Black,
like
who had
Seinfeld. You got
Loose
people
Cannon,
popping in left and right.
and Anthony Steele was here to talk about what was going on with him and other promotions, and quite an evening. But I want to come back for the remaining minutes of the show to talk about D'Angelo LaFlame. And what would be your final words to Mr. LaFlame ahead of Saturday Night Riot? What would be your final words?
My final words is watch your back. Like literally. And that's it. Watch
That's
your
it?
back.
Just simply put, watch your back.
Watch your back.
Okay. Do you think that he's overlooking you?
I mean, well, if you're talking in a literal sense, I mean,
no, no, not that. I mean to the fact that he's been everywhere and everybody speaks about him. And, we spoke at the beginning of the show, and obviously the audio was what it was.
To answer your question seriously, Tom, yes, but I can't blame him. I can't blame him. I've had 2 matches since I've come back. Won both of them, yes, but only 2 matches. So I can't blame him for undermining me and overlooking, what I really truly can do. He's on top of the world right now, and I'm, on the step stool. I do not blame him for overlooking me and my talent I bring to the table. He will find out, and at the end of the match, Tom, I will reach out my hand and I will give him a handshake, whether it's a win, a loss, or a draw. I will shake his hand at the end of the match because I have respect for a guy like D'Angelo LaFlame. And yeah, it's as simple as that.
Let me ask you another question, and I don't know how you're going to take this, but okay, let's say, as you correctly point out to me, that when you win at Saturday Night Riot, let's say when you become the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Champion, will you pull a D'Angelo LaFlame, or if companies out all of a sudden outside and reach out to you and want you to wrestle for them like Mr. LaFlame, will you go that same route, or will you keep the Internet Championship and strictly keep it in-house with Resurrection Wrestling? How will you handle that? Should, as you say, when you win a Saturday Night Riot, and let's say again, with Mr. LaFlame, he's traveled all over the place with the title, you win it.
Absolutely.
How will you do differently should that situation arise?
My email should be on my Instagram page. If not, I'll edit that tonight. If I get an email, if I get a DM, if I get anything from any other company asking me to wrestle, internet champion or no internet championship, I will gladly take anything I can do because, Tom, I love wrestling. I love being in that ring. Being in that ring is what fuels me to continue to go on in general. I mean, it really does fuel my life. That's why I'm still here. That's why I'm in the business. It's because it is the centerpiece and the cornerstone of my life. And I see that it is not in there, but I will add it in there tonight. So if I have any business inquiries, anybody wants to book me, then feel free to. Yeah.
Well, I would put it out there because obviously, and I will bring a guest on here to end the show, which will actually be pertaining to this match. And I would say I would endorse you for any promotion out there that's watching and listening. And I would strongly, if that's the route you want to go, would do anything in my power to get you to go somewhere, any other promotion out there, because I think what you do is a big man. Your energy, your passion, your drive, your dedication, and who you are as an individual inside and outside the ring. I've gotten a chance to know you over the past several months, and I would endorse you. And, I actually co-own a portion of a company called the PWF, the Pride Wrestling Federation. And I would say if I could speak to my co-owners, Dalton Skull, Omen Black, and Soldier GP, and they asked me about you, I would say 1,000%, if there was a way to make it work, I would love to see you in PWF. I'd love to see you in any promotion out there, because I think that you bring a lot to the table, and I would love to see you, and I want people to check you out there. And also, I want people to support Resurrection Wrestling here before we get going, and I want, obviously, to make sure that their platforms are supported, because it's about all wrestling matters here on this platform. And while I bring up the social medias, I do want to say hello to a man that actually wants to give you a pep talk. He's talking Resurrection Wrestling. He's actually the man behind Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. He's the owner.
How are you doing, sir?
Our good friend, Mr. Joshua Allen. And Mr. Allen, how are you? And I know you wanted to say a couple of things on the LaFlame and Jakoby match. I'm excited about this match, Saturday Night Riot, and it's really kind of one of the more interesting matches, I think, not just in Resurrection this year, but maybe in the entire Yard and Underground. You have the Backyard Wrestling darling right now, kind of like the new Jack Delta against Jakoby, kind of this young and exciting big man who's got a lot of promise and kind of untapped potential, and it's a dream match. And I don't think it's maybe Jacoby's getting the credit he should. And talk to me your thoughts on it and more.
Well, first I want to say how sweet it is to be back on the #1 podcasting network, interview network of all that is wrestling, the Sportzwire network, Sportswire Radio. And I want to come on there real quick. And this is Jacoby's time. This ain't my time or anybody else's time. It's his time, his spot. Like I said earlier, despite this whole Thorn mumbo jumbo.
Oh my God! He was in the bathroom while he was on the air.
He won. Was on the toilet.
That's a visual I didn't need to see, but anyway, we all had,
well, we all didn't want to, but then somebody was knocking on the door, and it was kind of like obvious.
His lady doesn't want to either, my friend. I would love to bet good money on that.
Wow.
Okay, that's getting a little bit personal. But anyway,
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Don't nobody want to see all that.
I mean, I wanted to come on here real quick and just say that this match is going to be very important, because honestly, you won the right to get the shot at the Flame by beating Thorn and lockdown. Whether you say it was a fluke or not, you got the 1, 2, 3. But honestly, you're going after one of the top 3 major championship belts in Resurrection Pro Wrestling, which is an Internet Championship.
Absolutely.
That LaFlame holds. And LaFlame has been on a major roll with the Internet title. Previously going to
Alliance Wrestling in Alabama. He's now announced for the new Underground Wrestling, the Riot in the Ring in Massachusetts. I mean, he's like I say it all the time. I just had Copper Dragon on, and he was like, "Oh, D'Angelo Flame, I've heard of him." Aaron Blaze, a man who's got another interesting history. He even was like, "Oh, D'Angelo the Flame, I've heard of him." Every single person, whether you like them or not, in the Yard and the Underground, knows his name. He's a real household name right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, LaFlame is. I'm gonna tell you one thing, Jacoby. It ain't gonna be a cakewalk sport. It's not gonna be a cakewalk. LaFlame is all. He comes out. He's got his song going. Everybody's singing along with it.
He's got the glasses. He runs out with the braids. He jumps around. Right. I mean, he's got some. He's got energy.
Exactly, 100%. And outside the ring, he's eligible. When he gets in there, it's all business. And I think this is going to be, I think, in my opinion, the biggest match in Jacoby's career, in my honest to God opinion. And honestly, I think, I've been a 3-time world heavyweight champion, 1-time Intercontinental champion.
And you've managed world champions. You've had the guys that have been on the Mount Rushmore of this sport, the guys that have carried companies like TBW to where they are today. So you know about winning. There's nobody that knows winning more than you, I would dare say, over the past 7 years.
I mean, look
at honestly the greatest American small business success story in the Yard by far, hands down. Inside and outside the ring what it takes, and that's why we're going to obviously put TBW breaking news into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame in the next month here, coming up in the first week of June. You guys are going to be forever immortalized in our Hall of Fame for those reasons. Breaking news.
Well, I appreciate that, Tom. I mean, it means a whole lot to me and all the boys in the back. And but like I said, Jakoby, it's a do or die situation. I mean, you got to go on this thing. And like you said earlier, why would you want to give away your secrets to how you're going to beat him if you can? I'm not going to say you can't. Why would you give away the secrets? That's giving away. If the Flame knows what you're going to do, then you're dead hook and sinker, man. You're
Yeah.
out. But honestly, I think the underdog story tends to live in the world of wrestling. I mean, well, everything that's happened in the legit wrestling world. I mean, it could be an upset. I can't say it will
Hey,
be.
once
I'm
upon a time, 1, 2, 3 Kid defeated Razor Ramon. James Ellsworth defeated AJ Styles not once but twice. I mean, Brian Danielson, as AKA Daniel Bryan, won the heavyweight championship. I mean, we've seen upsets.
Couple
That's
of
not
weeks ago with Cody Rhodes. I mean,
Cody
yeah.
Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Nobody
Right.
thought that Roman would finally lose. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. The Miz and R-Truth just got the tag team titles. That was an upset. I mean, we see it all the time. So why not Jakoby? Why not him?
Good question. I mean, anything can. The old adage, anything can happen in the world of wrestling, and we've seen over the years in wrestling, no matter what company it was, whether it be the big leagues,
Rey
underground.
Mysterio beat Kevin Nash on Nitro once upon a time via just a roll up off a power bomb. I mean, it happens.
Anything can happen in the world of wrestling, Tom. I mean, I respect both of you. I first saw Jakoby in a little place called BCW. That's when I
Yep.
first seen him, and that's where I seen all the Resi guys as well in that promotion when it was up and running. But I think this is going to be very important for Jakoby. Can Jakoby get the win? I think he's got what it takes. Does he need the win? Yes, he needs. I think if he wants it, you got to eat, sleep, and breathe it, and to go. I mean, it's a lot easier to chase the belt than to keep it. It's easier for the
I
chase.
say it all the time here. When you become the champion, it's harder to keep the title rather than when you were the chaser. Look at when Austin was the champion versus the chaser. He was a far better chaser than a champion. You look at people. Mankind's total run as champion was 21 days. Dusty Rhodes' run as champion was 105 days for his title total runs. It's very difficult to go in transition, and that's going to be the key. Jakoby can win this because he's the challenger. Now, if Jakoby gets it, it's a different ballgame, but he's got a shot right now because you know what? As I said, Mr. Allen, everybody and their mother's talking about D'Angelo LaFlame. People that don't even watch Resurrection Wrestling know who he is. But Jacoby's this kind of guy that's under the radar. He's this intriguing big man who's come back. He talked about it here 5 months ago when he came on here. He had a lot to prove. He's shown that here. He's the number one contender. He's also got something to prove because of what Xavier Thorne did to him personally and professionally. And he's got a guy that he can, the right time at the right moment. This could be that moment. We've seen it in wrestling history, and this could be Jacoby's moment that could kind of crystallize him. And you know what? Take Resurrection to even further heights, because there's no question that D'Angelo LaFlame has put this company on his back unofficially. But with Jakoby and what he brings to the table, this could be the moment where he becomes a made man and puts Resurrection and even to further heights.
Yeah.
110%, Tom. I mean, but the main question is, does Jakoby really want it? I mean, you got to eat, breathe, and sleep it. And like I said a minute ago, it's a lot easier chasing it than it is to keep it, because when you get that, no matter what belt it is, whether it be a world title, whether it be a U.S. Intercontinental tag title, whatever the case may be, you got a bullseye on you, and it's a lot easier chase it than to keep it. I mean, going back to what Tom said, I managed, the likes of, Joe Anderson to great success, and the Grim Reaper and Atomic Time. Excuse me,
because he's coming here next Monday. I knew you were going there.
But yeah, I hear you,
God!
I hear you loud and clear, Josh, and I know exactly what you're saying. First of all, I appreciate that those words of, and I'm not saying you're totally doubting me, but slight words of doubt kind of fuel me to go a little bit harder and try to, focus in more. And also on top of that, what you guys said earlier about how it's keep it than it is chasing it. You're absolutely right. But as of right now, as of today, as of Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, my eyes are on the prize. After I win, again, positive affirmations, then my eyes will be on the next challenger, one by one by one. But
Right.
we'll wait until after Saturday Night Riot to see. And I see again, there's a slight hints of there, Josh, and I love that because when I do get that 1, 2, 3, I am excited to see the looks on everyone's faces, the numerous messages coming in, all these different things. I'm excited to prove to everyone that, hey, I belong here, you know, and that's what I'm ready to do after Saturday Night Riot. I'm hoping, on that show, I can prove myself. I can prove my worth and my, place in Resurrection Pro Wrestling.
Right. And like I said, I'm not trying to, disrespectful. I'm not denying denying your road to the internet title. Can I think you get it? Absolutely. I mean, like I said, anything can happen in the world of wrestling. I mean, you look at the history
Hmm.
books and the amount of people that's the underdogs. I mean, like with Rey Mysterio winning the world title at WrestleMania 22 between Angle and Norton. I mean, anything can happen. But LaFlame is very serious because he's worked for us. We went down to
Oh,
Memphis.
you guys have had him of quite a few times. I mean, he was
Yeah,
in AWL a bunch of times.
That
ADT was here, and
that reminds me of
ADT
something
raved
actually.
about him. I mean, Copper Dragon today was raving about him. I mean, guys that aren't even fans of Resi and TBW talk to me privately about this guy. And like, what do you know? They ask me all the time. They say, "What do you know about D'Angelo the Flame?" And I'm like, just go out and check him out. Watch what he does in the ring. For a guy his size, the way he moves in the ring, off the top rope, his charisma, his character. I mean, he's a high character guy outside the ring. He's great to work with. I mean, he's really, if I'm starting any promotion right now, like with all due respect to anybody out there, he's probably the guy I'm building my company around, hands down.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
100%.
if anybody's a promoter in the world of wrestling, if you don't want to build it around a guy like D'Angelo Flame, something's wrong with you. That's what I say.
Absolutely. Listen, no question. The guys in Massachusetts, New Underground Wrestling, they
Yeah,
got it. They got the message. Jake Matthews, credit to
Howard
him.
Stern, Matthews, those guys are great. I want to say those guys are
Oh
fantastic.
my God, those guys, just very. To me, I say it all the time. Very similar to Resi and TBW. The
Oh yeah.
talent, the atmosphere, just great all around people inside and outside the ring. Can't say
Oh
it
yeah,
better myself.
for sure. I mean, those guys. I think they continue to check us out. I do the same with them. I mean, what a great cast of performers you have there, like Power Surgeon Jake Matthews and
D
you know,
Savage, Justin Abel Sane, Tyson Spade. I mean, you got just the whole Leonidas, who's been TF crew. I mean, those guys, especially Power Surgeon, D Savage, they're basically pros right now. I mean, they're just like, I've never seen anything like them in my life that wrestle in the yard.
right. Like I said, what a great group of performers, in ring competitors they are. And like I said, I just want to hop on there real quickly and give Jakoby this
I
talk.
appreciate the words of advice, Josh. You've been in this game longer than I have, and I'll take any advice where I can get it. And so I do appreciate it. You're a great guy and a great performer, and
I appreciate.
And
getting
he
advice
re-signed
from
my
a guy
buddy
like
Alan
you.
Michaels, by the way, my wingman Friday nights. I mean, you brought Alan, and he's making you look good. He pinned J-Wild, the Prophet J-Wild. Alan Michaels is back, and he interviews Russell Cooper at Staying Trendy. Has on this guy Atomic Titan, cough cough. And I mean, boy, he hangs in there. Probably should have won that match, a questionable outcome, and he makes you look like $1 million that you already are because he pinned
Yeah.
J-Wild last night on Rampage 161. He looked great out there, Alan Michaels. I mean, just fantastic move bringing him back.
Thank you. Like I said, I got a lot to do with. I got to do with a band of misfits. I got to do with a certain king, Charlie Sheen's
Oh,
wife.
he's here next Monday. He's going to be here next Monday.
God, heaven forbid. Anyway, long story short, but yeah, a little quick plug. If anybody has not checked out episode 161, do that right now. The announcement was made on the broadcast. The Macon Iron Battle Royal for the Macon Iron Cup will be at Anniversary 7. And like I said on the broadcast,
Anniversary 7.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. I want to thank, Brian Nichols and the Macon Iron Fitness for allowing the trophy to be made, and it's been a tremendous, honor. A great guy, great gym facility, and just what an amazing piece of announcement that I shared. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be, and also I do believe we will do this in more futures to come anniversaries for the Macon Iron Battle Royal. I think this is something we will have around as the years progress. I believe we will. But like I said, I just wanted to thank them for that, and wanted to come on there and for Jakoby, because he's going to this big time matchup.
I was speaking to Alan earlier today off the air about the trophy, and he was so excited about it, and he was telling me everybody's so excited in the company about it, and just it's a really great thing, and I obviously want people to follow it and watch it here. And before I let you go, and we get to final thoughts from Jakoby, I promise, is that this is a real success story for any company. It's a true American small business dream. For a company that had humble beginnings to now have almost 7,500 subscribers on YouTube and now a sponsor. This is what it's all about. At the end of the day, as I always say, a rising tide will always lift all boats. And you guys have been that. At the end of the day, people can say whatever they want, but at the test of time, TBW has stood that test of time. And now to have your first of many sponsors, to be on your way to 10,000 subscribers, and to be able to have that support now in the community, that shows where it's all about. I was told famously once, if you didn't have the support in your own community, you ain't got nothing. Well, officially now, TBW's got support in their own community, and it's only going to be through further communities, because all of my friends out there in the world, whether it's in the UK and stateswide and any other Australia, Canada, people that are fans of my platform always say, Tom, I have watched TBW at least a few times before. So it shows you at the end of the day, you guys are the mothership. You guys, at the end of the day, people can say what they want, but TBW is that mothership. TBW is the Mount Rushmore of this sport, and congratulations, and we can support Macon Iron Fitness right over there, and just keep up the great work, and thank you for all you do. You can follow TBW at YouTube, TBW 2017, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, the rest of the social medias, and I'm sure Alan will have a few things to say Friday, and your guy, Mr. Titan, that you've had some interesting history with, will be here next Monday night.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I got to hear his big mouth run for a mile a minute about himself, which is nothing unusual. But yeah, like I said a minute ago, the Macon Iron Cup, what a tremendous opportunity it's going to be. I mean, we've already got guys, being in it. I mean, if you saw on the Rampage, we got the Robbie Andrews, the high roller, who's hosting Anniversary 7. He's going to be in there. Joe Anderson's in there. All the new developmental signees, they want to be in it. The Texas Hangman, Andrew Clay, he's going to, I mean, what a job he's been doing so far.
What a match he had this past week, by the way. I mean, he's really, to me, one of the guys that's come a long way in the last couple of weeks. I mean, that's a guy I would say, keep an eye on, wink, wink.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Clay has done a tremendous job. He left the family, is finding himself again, and, he's got like a Dick Murdoch approach to him now. I mean, I love the old school style of wrestling. Anyway, but I wanted to come on there real quick, for Jakoby to, to like the pep talk, and I appreciate the plugs, and I appreciate the time, but and good luck to the Flame anytime, man. But also, I just want to say thank you for that. But coming soon, Anniversary 7, very, very soon to TBW on YouTube. So if you want to see Anniversary 7, it'll be coming up very, very soon. You do not want to miss it. 7 years of Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. We have got some great stuff planned for this. Great stuff. And But I'm going to get off here and let Jakoby have
Okay.
his moment.
Yep, we're gonna give
After
him
the
his
All right,
final
show.
word.
Josh.
Yep.
Thank you very
You
much.
be safe, bros.
Thank
Later.
you, Mr. Allen. That was, of course, Joshua. And boy, Jakoby,
course.
what a night you've had. I mean, I lost
I've
count
had
how many people, but at least you ended with a good note. You know what? Before we get to final
yeah.
thought, you had I think, the best words of the night. Josh Allen, obviously a man who knows championships. He owns a company that's the true American small business dream and success story. Gave us some enlightening words. I think gave us motivation. And, we all know you got a great shot at this. And I'm going to say that I'm very impartial in this because I like you and I like D'Angelo. And I'm just hoping for the best man to win. I'm hoping for the best match possible because this is a dream
Absolutely.
match. This is a really great match for a great card. And that's why I want people to follow Resurrection. I want to say hello to friends like C2K, my buddy Justin Parsley, 2-time Hall of Fame. You know what, Jakoby, I got good news for you because you know what? I'm going to say this here before I get to closing thoughts. I'll tell you what, because I believe in you, Jakoby. You know why I believe in you? Because I tell you what, you come away with that Resurrection Wrestling Internet Championship. You do that here on Saturday Night Riot. The next time you come on to Sportswire Radio, how about you take your place into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, my friend? How does that sound? How much motivation that's going to give you now going into Saturday Night Riot? You win this match, you're going to take your place in history and go into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. How does that sound, my friend?
That sounds fantastic, Tom. That gives me a little more confidence because here's the thing about me. When I'm driven to the point where I am driven to now, I make the great things happen. That's why I came back. That's why this arm healed so fast. When I am focused and prepared and have as much motivation and as many reasons to beat D'Angelo the Flame or to do anything in my life, I make things happen. I always figure it out. Whether again win, lose, or draw, it will be a great match because we deliver, because that's who we are. We're great wrestlers. But that would be an absolute honor, Tom, and I'd be more than thankful to take my spot in the history of the #1 wrestling radio podcast, Sportswire Radio, with the Reverend Tom Bryce here. So
I
you
appreciate that. And before I get to closing thoughts, is there anything else you want to say going into the match or anything else you want to share before we sign? Obviously, new logo looks good. I put that out on the screen.
yeah,
Love
yeah,
the new
yeah.
logo. Great stuff.
I
Anything else you want to share before closing thoughts?
I tell you, one of the first questions you asked me, I believe it might have been the first question you asked, was how am I going to beat D'Angelo Flame? And obviously, I can't tell you the exact answer to that, but what I can tell you, you and D'Angelo Flame, just to give you a little inkling, and the rest of anyone watching, is I do have a strategy planned out. One of the matches that Joshua Allen mentioned in Underdog Stories, watch them. Watch,
Okay. All right. I
watch
kind of
all
got
of
an
them,
idea of that. Okay.
and when the match comes around, you will see exactly which match I'm referring to, because I have some tricks up my sleeve that I have learned from legends in this business and watching countless tape on Peacock of WWE matches, countless tape on YouTube of old NWA matches. Uh, for example, legends like Harley Race, The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Lou Thez. I've watched so much old school wrestling, and
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat
Ricky
obviously
the
was a part of those
Dragon
NWA
Steamboat.
days.
You
Yep.
know, one of my favorite matches I revisited the other day was from WrestleMania 3, and it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus
Oh.
Macho Man. And that's a beautiful match.
And that was
Watch
the match
that,
where Macho
you know.
Man wrote out like move by move on a notebook on a pen and paper.
Yeah, yeah, he
It's
did. Yeah,
wild.
they figured that out like bit by bit, play by play. It was a literal play. Um, but yeah, that's my final words. Watch every one of those matches. By the time Saturday Night Riot comes, you'll know which one I was referring to. But Josh Allen mentioned one specific one in there where my ears kind of perked up for a second. I said, "Oh, he knows. I think he
Yeah,
knows where
well,
I'm
you know
going."
what? Why do I feel like the word always travels in this sport? All right, well, you know what?
Right.
Great stuff there. And I want people before we sign off to follow Jakoby on Instagram.
Yeah.
So
We got any more
when,
comments, Tom? We can fit some
yeah,
of those in.
okay, absolutely we can. Okay, let me
Yeah,
go to
yeah, yeah.
Justin Parsley, 2-time Hall of Famer. He was a part of the second
Good
longest run of
evening,
the
bros. How
XPW
are you
Tag Team
doing?
Champions. Says, good evening, gents. C2K says you can win.
I know I
Obviously,
can.
your better half says my man's got this. I don't know why
Yeah.
C2K brought up allergies. He also says Don't tell him how you're going to beat him this time. Yeah, that's what he was basically saying.
I never did.
Also want to say
I never once said I would.
hello to the big bad.
Yeah, he
Toro.
said Josh. Yeah, he said hey to Josh while he was here.
Okay. Anthony Steele loves the logo for Resurrection. He loves the logo. Also here, I got to give a lot of credit to Jakoby. Absolutely. He said he likes
Hey,
Jakoby.
I appreciate
Yep,
it.
C2K definitely likes
Hey,
Jakoby.
I like you too, C2K.
Loose Cannon wants to say Josh Allen and Jakoby. Just wanted to say you guys are the goats of wrestling in my eyes. Congratulations on all of you guys' success and congratulations.
That is a high bar there,
Well,
but
Loose Cannon's he's an interesting guy.
he's a loose cannon, all right. But
Well, obviously, I'm sure we'll find that at a different
hey,
time. But
I'll take a compliment where I can get it.
no,
you
Loose
know?
Cannon. You know what? He's a good guy. He's
I
a nice
believe
guy.
he's a good guy.
No, he is a
I just
good-hearted guy.
saying we're the two goats is like,
Well,
whoa, man.
listen, I speak to him off the air. I think he means well. I try to give everybody a fair shake. That's my job.
I think he means we're really good, and I appreciate
yes,
that.
he does mean that, and I think we all believe in you. I think that we want you to come back on here a lot sooner, and I think once you win this championship, you gave me a very strong belief in you that I'm going to put you in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame before the end of the month, and I think that you're going to have a lot to talk about. This is going to be the springboard to a big 2024. You've got a lot of big things ahead, and I really believe in Resurrection Wrestling. I know Mr. LaFlame will be here before that match. I'm sure he'll give a different take, but I think
I'm
you
excited
gave us
to see what he's got to say.
Yeah, he's always got something exciting to say, and
yeah.
quite a weekend. And anything else you want to plug, share, or say before we sign off?
Tom, I think we packed it all into this hour, 45 minutes and 3 seconds. I think we got it all in there.
I think we definitely did, and that's where you can follow Resurrection Wrestling. And I will see you Saturday, Loose Cannon. Yes, you'll be here Saturday. You'll get your side of the story, and until then, everybody, please support our friends over at Resurrection Wrestling in the links below. You can also support Jakoby on Instagram at Jakoby_Resurrection Wrestling. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling where all wrestling matters. I want to thank, obviously, your girlfriend, who I don't know why she wanted to put $2 down, but if you want, I'll give you the $2 back if it was your last $2. But you are obviously.
Tom, I think she's. I think she just wants to support the show and support a good guy like yourself for bringing her guy on here.
I think I said it on the air. Is it yesterday? I think I did say it yesterday. I actually said I was really excited for you to come on because I liked our conversation. A lot of my friends were like, wow, Jakoby was a good one. In fact, I won't tell you on the air. I'll maybe tell you off the air, but I was speaking with a couple of guys in the company. I was like, Jakoby, he might be one of the best talkers that's in the company. He really he's way behind his, age, and he's so mature. He knows his stuff. He's got confidence to him. He's got not a cockiness, and he's like a guy that I'm really looking forward to this match too. So I was very excited. For days we spoke, last week, can we make this happen? I was like, absolutely, I'll find a will and a way. And you always deliver. I have no doubt you're going to deliver coming up here in this match at Saturday Night Riot. And I can't thank you enough for all that you do for being a part of Resurrection Wrestling and All Wrestling Matters. I want to thank the company for their support. I love working with the guys. I love all the guys in TBW as well. And, I can't wait to watch the match. I can't wait to see what you do in the future. And, congratulations on the success. And I look forward to inducting you in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you. I do really appreciate it. Platform is a great platform for wrestlers like myself to get our name out there, because for a very long time the backyard scene did not get as much recognition as it does today with the likes of guys like yourself, Tom. And as a backyard wrestler since February 1st, 2021, I would like to personally thank you genuinely. Hall of Fame, no Hall of Fame, regardless, you are a great guy, a great interviewer, and you have a great show, and I am very happy to say you're my friend.
Me too. I want to say this. I want to say it one more time to cap the weekend off. And I said this with Copper Dragon, who's kind of another person that's really the ambassador of backyard wrestling. And I said this, and I want you to hear this. Actually, I was at a wedding yesterday, which was the wedding of my mother, and I was into it, but it's a long story. I obviously did the right thing, but I said in my speech today and my speech last night, I want to say it because I want you to hear it, and I want people that are out there from Resurrection, other places to hear, is that to me, while I might have been at a wedding and I might have been in a room of people that may or may not be family, some were and some weren't, but to me, each and every time I'm on this platform, I'm with my real family. each and every night. That is the
Absolutely.
people in Backyard Wrestling, the people in the companies that come on here, the people that listen to these shows, and the people that support. And to me, that's what matters more than anything else. And I'll do anything I can to support Backyard and Underground Wrestling. I believe in it. I believe that you guys need to be respected. You guys need to be supported and taken care of. And I know that Copper Dragon expressed his appreciation of it here tonight with us when we celebrated him. And I'll do anything I can. I'll go above and beyond my means and doing what I can to contribute to support everything that you guys do, to go out there and put your blood, sweat, and tears out there. And I just want to thank everybody that comes on my platform. I want to thank all of the companies, whether I said something or didn't say something, whether I've supported you or supported you too much or supported you too little. I just want to say thank you to all of you out there. And I can't wait to get to so many of you. And it just means so much to me that you support my platform and you've given me a following. And, I've been at this for 5.5 years. I've covered independent wrestling, British wrestling. I've covered all walks of life. But to me, my real home and the real community is at Backyard and Underground Wrestling. And to me, this is where true wrestling lives. And Hillbilly Tilly said it best. This is what true wrestlers do it for the love, and everybody here in the yard and the underground does it for those reasons. And to me, this is what I want to cover. This is what I want to do. It ain't about the money. It ain't about anything but other just giving the people what they want. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. If you heard it out there, thank you for your support. And I can't wait to be back on the air tomorrow with D Savage from New Underground Wrestling. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. I was joined by a slew of people, but most importantly, Jakoby, the #1 contender to the Resurrection Wrestling Internet Championship. He is set to square off at the Saturday Night Riot against D'Angelo LaFlame. And if you're on Sportswire Radio.org, you're going back to your regularly scheduled programming. If you're on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, I'll be back at 9:30 tomorrow. Tuesday, I'm with Scary Terry of Legendary Backyard Wrestling in North Dakota. And then Wednesday night at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time, Sean Jovi has apparently an announcement. So a lot ahead, a lot to talk about. Also, thank you to Anthony Steele, Josh Allen. Also, thanks to Omen Black, and I guess thanks to Xavier Thorne, but I hope you didn't do a #2 on the air.
No, thank you to Keywan.
It was a funny
no,
joke.
thank you is okay.
Yeah,
good.
no thank you
I
there. But we'll certainly see. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the #1 global station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And please support our friends at Resurrection Wrestling, because together we will win.